Hello and happy Thursday, everybody. I hope your week has been going really well. I'm excited to share another one of my favorite recipes with you today. And it's important that to me that I'm sharing really simple things with you guys, things that I think are delicious, super easy to make, really convenient. You can double this recipe, triple this recipe. It freezes really well and just something that is really versatile. You can also, well, let me just get into things here a little bit before we go into the recipe. So, for those of you who aren't familiar with who I am, I'm Jessica Melnick. I'm a registered holistic nutritionist, the founder of the Anti-Arthritis Method, the host of the Happy Joints Arthritis Solutions Group, and I help both women and men with various forms of arthritis get back to living life the way they choose to, not the way they have to. So, like I said, I get really excited when I'm talking about food because it's one of my great pleasures in life, and I'm sure it is for many of you. And it's also really important to have great food that is not going to inflame your joints and actually can help make you feel better in the long run and maintain your health for the long term as well. So, the recipe I'm sharing with you today is what I call turkey sausage. And I use the term sausage loosely because it's not in a casing. What I do is I use ground turkey meat, and I always double this recipe. So I'm always making 2 pounds at a time, and it has a really nice seasoning mix. There are a few seasonings in there that I would omit if you are on the elimination phase of the autoimmune protocol and have not reintroduced some of the spices that we take out originally, but it's still going to be tasty for you and nonetheless if you are leaving out a couple of the things. And this can also be made as meatballs. So my sister actually likes to make this recipe as meatballs. I'm personally too lazy most of the time to make it as meatballs, so I literally just make it as seasoned ground turkey meat. And I love to eat it with a couple different kinds of roasted vegetables. It's great with roasted cauliflower, roasted broccoli, roasted cabbage. It's fantastic. I haven't tried it on salad greens myself, but I'm sure you could if you really wanted to, and use like a really great anti-inflammatory salad dressing made from scratch as well. So really versatile. The seasonings are super simple. All you have to do to make this recipe is I just saute the onion first until it becomes a little bit translucent, starts to soften up. And then if you're using mushrooms, I would add it then as the onions are starting to soften. And once those things have cooked through, I would either remove them to the pan or just kind of push them aside so you can fit the ground turkey in the pan. And then you're just going to break that up and you're going to saute it until it starts to be cooking on the one side. And then I would add about half the seasoning mix to it. Let that cook for a couple minutes. I usually cook mine over medium heat in a cast iron pan on a gas stove. So, depending on your oven, you just kind of experiment. And then once it starts to cook, I mix it around and then I add the other half of the seasoning and just finish cooking it all the way through until there's no longer any pink in the turkey. You can also try to use a meat thermometer. I know it's a little tricky though with ground meat to use a meat thermometer, but if it's crumbly and there's no pink left in the meat, usually you're good to go. So that's it. That's all. And like I said, it's super yummy, super versatile, and just a super quick, easy thing to make. Like I said, I always make a double batch and then I freeze half for the following week. So I always have something I can just pull out of the freezer quickly, so I have something ready for lunch. And if you guys haven't caught on by now, I'm obsessed with roasted vegetables. So I always have at least two kinds of roasted vegetables in my fridge. I make two huge cookie sheets of them at a time in the oven, sometimes three. So I always have leftovers, and it's just something you can throw together for a quick, easy meal. So I would just take about 3 to 4 ounces of the ground turkey or whatever amount you need for protein, and then you just throw those roasted vegetables on top. Super delicious. But let's talk a little bit about the turkey here and like why I chose turkey, how this benefits you. First off, Having enough protein, especially as we age, is super, super important in order to maintain our muscle mass. Some of us may even be working on building muscle mass a little as well. This is really important because after the age of 30, we gradually just start to lose our muscle mass if we're not doing any type of resistance or weight bearing exercise to maintain it. And it's super, super important to maintain our muscle mass, not just for our strength, but it's also what's going to help us support our joints, which is super important, especially if you're dealing with arthritis. And it's just going to help you with your stamina. It's going to keep your metabolism up as well, so that you're not just gaining weight every year, year after year, just because we're getting older, right? So maintaining muscle mass is really, really important. So I always recommend for my clients to make sure you're getting some type of protein, whether it is beef, poultry, fish, at lunch and at supper and at breakfast. If you are someone who likes a savory breakfast and you want to get some ground meat in a vegetable hash for breakfast, that's a really nice idea too. Some sweet potatoes, it's really nice. And if you're eating something else, like maybe an autoimmune protocol muffin, maybe some fruit, I always recommend you use some collagen powder in there so that you're getting some protein as well. So super, super important to have protein with every meal. So let's get into talking a little bit more about protein and turkey in particular. So like I said, we need protein to maintain muscle mass, especially as we age, and for our muscle strength in general. It is also responsible for repairing our tissue cells, transporting oxygen through our blood in our body, which is super, super important for energy. And it also helps with blood clotting. So, very important functions of the body, correct? So, and also aesthetically, we need this for healthy hair, skin, nails, and yeah, it's really important for that too. And also, having enough protein can help with weight control and blood sugar control as well. So, it keeps us fuller longer, keeps us satiated, it keeps our blood sugar stable so that we're not going to be craving things like right after we eat, or we're not going to be craving a bunch of like refined carbohydrates if we have good blood sugar management. So, really, really important there. Let's also look at the amino acid tryptophan that is found in turkey. It's also in chicken, so you can use ground chicken for this recipe as well. They have similar nutrition profiles. Now, tryptophan is an amino acid, which is just like the smaller version of protein, so a protein broken down into its smallest form. And tryptophan actually can help regulate sleep, which I know you guys have heard about. Oh, you had the big turkey dinner and you felt sleepy. That's probably more so because usually when we have turkey dinner, we eat too much and that makes us sleepy. But turkey itself, if you're eating it, it can help actually like help us fall asleep quicker and stay asleep and have just a better quality sleep. So awesome, especially if you're struggling with that, as I know a lot of us do after I'd say age 40. I don't know what it is, but sometimes sleep can be a little bit tricky. Now, let's look at other ways that tryptophan can help. So, tryptophan may also help improve our mood because it also boosts serotonin production. And serotonin is essentially like a hormone, it's a chemical messenger. It's often, most of it's produced in the gut. And it is one of the things that we need to stave off depression. So it also helps us lower our anxiety levels. So this is something that you may want to consider eating more often is some turkey and chicken and just getting adequate protein if you're struggling with depression or anxiety. And let's look at how turkey can help with weight loss. So, like I was saying before, it's because it's a high source of protein, which reduces our hunger hormone called ghrelin. And this helps us curb our appetite. So, it also takes more energy to digest protein than it does to digest carbs or fats. So, go figure. So our body is going to use more fuel to actually break down the protein in digestion. So that's another way that it can help us curb our appetite and maybe help us lose weight. So also, selenium is one of the minerals that is found in plenty in turkey. And it is something that helps us aid our immunity. So if you have like cold sores or you get sick often, sometimes you might not be getting enough selenium in your diet. It's really good for wound healing and for boosting your immune health as well. And it's also an antioxidant that fights free radical damage, which is really, really important. And it can decrease inflammation as well and has anti-cancer properties. So selenium is super important, and turkey is a really good source of selenium. So I hope that was informative for you today. If you have any questions, you can definitely feel free to post them in the comments below this post. I'm also going to attach the link for the recipe as well under this post so that you can just click on it and download it and have it handy. Like I said, you guys, this is something I eat, oh my goodness, like every second week. I have it in my meal rotation. It's delicious. It's just super quick and easy. I even eat it cold, leftover. Like it tastes that good. So I hope you guys enjoyed as much as I do. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And we'll see you back here on Tuesday. All right. Take care, guys.